Hey guys, Justin Gary. All right, it's been on my mind for a long while to create some type of social media channel that was talking about some hard-hitting topics. Unfortunately, they can be polarizing topics, and in the past, I've put them on my other toy-related social media, but it ends up just turning into dumpster fires, which this might as well do. But I wanted to have something separate because my toy related channel, my bread and butter, my hobby, even though I have an audience on that and I like to share behind the scenes family stuff and thoughts, I wanted kind of a more direct venue for people that just specifically want to listen to this or are curious. So that's my motivation. I'm out in the woods right now. That's where I do my best thinking. I don't really even have any notes. This is free flowing narratives that come through my head. So bear with me if, I have a brain fart or I say something that doesn't quite make total fluid sense. The topic of, this whole thing is don't talk about religion or politics. But why? Those are my favorite two things to talk about. And maybe that's what the channel will be called. Don't talk about religion or politics. And I stole that joke from my dad because my dad, he likes talking about those kinds of things too. And he's joked around that his wife Barb, anytime they go to a social setting, says, "Ed, don't bring that stuff up." And he inevitably does, and then they notice they don't get invited back because that's the world we're living in. And it's the world we've always lived in. It's just hyper fed right now with social media and divisive type narratives that whether you're conservative or you're liberal, you're getting different wells of knowledge. And we all have biases, some things, how we perceive the world, right or wrong. And unfortunately, these kinds of things put us into boxes and categories. Oh, you're this, you're that, you're woke, you like Trump, so you hate these people. Oh, you're a Christian, so you must be in this box. And we endlessly do that to separate ourselves. And kind of my goal in talking about this, because religion was kind of my foundational message. I love Jesus Christ, even though I'm a sinner, I screw up, I'm going to make mistakes, but I am walking in the Word and constantly striving to be better. And my opinions on social media, they could be flawed. That's not my bedrock. My bedrock is obviously in the Bible and biblical foundations, and that's how I view the lens of the world, which I believe to be true. But my opinions can be flawed. Like I mentioned before, we get our knowledge from conservative or liberal media or other people that are also influenced, and I constantly tell people, stop drinking from one well of knowledge. Stop just going to CNN. Stop just going to Fox. You got to go to both because, unfortunately, both are propaganda. They have interest in only telling you one side, one narrative. Even if it's wrong, they will still spew it for a variety of reasons. And when I start going into the weeds of those kinds of topics, it can be uncomfortable. And there are going to be things that you might not agree with. Or you've heard other people say, "Oh, well, if you do that, then you're a conspiracy theorist." Another box. And that's a way to discredit someone, put them in a category to make them seem like a kook so that you can go to your warm, fuzzy knowledge base. Anytime that someone's very passionate conservative, all in Team Trump, or passionate liberal, all in with what have you, my goal when I have those in-person conversations is to try to show them the other side of the coin, because I firmly believe that they are both in essence the exact same thing. A tool to divide, separate. Now with my Christian foundation, Christian, another trigger word for many people that will have non-believers, especially even some believers, go, oh, well, that means you condone this. That means you hate these people. That means you're intolerant to this. And if that's what you believe or think, stay with me a little bit longer, because some of those can be shattered. Because unfortunately, some people that have proclaimed that Jesus is their salvation, but also spewed hate and ignorance throughout history, that's not really what God's about. And that can be termed a hypocrite, and thus diluting the real knowledge, the real word. Anyway, my goal is to, and we do this all the time, anytime you go, oh, look what these woke people do, then the liberal people will go, well, look what the conservatives do. They do the exact same thing. And likewise, conservatives point to something, whether it's illegal immigration, abortion, LGBTQ type hot button issues, or pew pew. I don't even know if I can say the word. You know what I'm saying, without getting this flagged, which it probably already is, and no one's watching it anyway, but that's okay. These are just free-flowing ideas. Anytime we mention something on one side or the other of the argument, then people that believe the opposite will just point to something else. And it's like, well, oh, they won't address the main issue. Or we go off on tangents. Or we play this worst case scenario thing. And I've often gotten into arguments, and maybe we'll touch on a different video with abortion, because I like talking to people that have different views, and I don't block people, which is unfortunately a common thing that we do. We isolate to exactly, or people just like us, and we get into an echo chamber. So I don't block people that have different views on social media. But if we, and I was getting to abortion, like I've gotten into arguments before, because obviously you can guess where my brain goes to. Now, they always talk about rape or incest. Rape and incest, rape and incest. What about those babies? I'm like, okay, we're using the argument of, 0.1% of all abortions to justify all the unprotected sex outside of marriage, and we point to these little harm to the mother, this small little thing to justify thousands, not thousands, way more than thousands of deaths. And we always tend to boil it down to these small things to justify the big things, and that goes for almost every single argument, which we can go further down the rabbit trail with many of these, and it's not healthy. And even if my best friend could have had an abortion, and how I look at it, I love you just the same, because sin is sin is sin is sin. Some man's sin is self-evident. You look at him and you go, whew, that guy looks like he's addicted to methamphetamine because he's sunken in face. His sin is visible. Whereas someone, a soccer mom that has everything prim and proper, straight A students, but she might be addicted to some kind of pain medicine in La La Land all the time. And her sin is more secretive. And we tend to point to the others, the other sides. Ugh, that's sin. It's easy to judge. That's why we love Jerry Springer. At least we're not, I got problems, but at least I'm not like that guy. We point to other people's sin. Whereas God's going, hey, you all have it. You all fall short, from the least to the great of you. And God actually sees the heart. He understands. And there's only one way to salvation. And it's so simple. But we get hung up on all these sidebar arguments, and people harden their hearts because they want to, and I'll get to those arguments later, and further in-depth videos. Common roadblocks to people not loving God is, well, they say the man's the head of the household, and what about women? That's sexist, so we can't believe in God if he does this, or he wiped out all these tribes of people back in the Old Testament. He's a genocidal God, or why would God allow pain and suffering? All these these topics that are understandable because we see the world in our lens, but our ways are far smaller than God's ways because he created this and he gave us these inquisitive minds, but he also gave us free choice. And we have the option to pursue endless ways of the world, which ultimately are fruitless. We will never find satisfaction by trying to fill our cup with fame, with ego, with all sorts of earthly possessions. Never fills it. Solomon tried it, failed miserably. And I'm on a journey right now. I like to, I'll share some of my inner angst, the things that God has shown me throughout my life. And I'm learning, and I'm on a much better path because my path, even though I was saved, I was bogged down by sin. So my witness was greatly diminished, and my relationship and tether to understanding God was not where it needed to be. But we're all striving. You never get to a place of spiritual, like, oh, I'm perfect now. I'm wizard level. That's a bad analogy. Even the apostles, Paul, like, magnificent mind, doing just wonderful things for the early church. And he's going, man, wretched am I. I still battle with the flesh. You don't get to a place where you're just like coasting. You're either striving forward or you're backsliding. And I had many years of backsliding, which was not good. So I look forward to, seeing where this goes. And like I mentioned, I do some of my better thinking when I'm off in God's country, just walking and talking. And I know I kind of touched on just broad topics, and people might use a few words that I say out of context or even in context, because like I said, this is a divisive world that we're living in. And my message, through the lens I see politics and the lens that I see religion influencing our world, will be expressed. And the message of God fits all time periods and all governments. You know, Jesus came down in the Roman Empire, imperialism, and America, which obviously is where I live. We're kind of the same, but we hide it differently. Granted, we have many freedoms, and some of the censorship and suppression over the last several years, which I like to cry from the rooftops. But my liberal friends, oh, stop it. And what I was trying to do was going, hey, these same tools are going to be used against you someday. And now that this is early 2025, President Trump is in the office doing some wild things. And I know just saying his name invokes certain emotions. Either like, yeah, America, or he's the devil. So you're going to be on one side or the other. And the truth is a little more complex than that. It's not absolute. So I look forward to talking about these things. And obviously, if you're watching this on my new channel, like, subscribe. If I post this video on my regular Justin Carey account, which primarily deals with my toys and family, I'll put a link down below to this new account, and we'll we'll touch some of these heavy topics, and I'm sure we'll bring some more mudslinging and hate my way. But you know, being in law enforcement for almost 20 years and since retired, I know what it's like for people to dislike you who don't know you. So I got some good armor on, and I'll take whatever life can give me, and ultimately spreading my witness and spreading my my shortcomings can be strength for others. I did a video not too long ago on my regular YouTube channel talking about kind of a revelation of God taking me low and dissolving all these sins that I was holding on to so tightly, and finally surrendering them to Him has awakened something inside me to be fearless. Anxiety's gone. All the things that I thought were important, not so much. Things that I knew, but I had to try it for my own way. I had to find out the hard way. So I look forward to talking with many of you. And please put your comments down below, because obviously I read the majority of them. Let me tell you a story about this coat that I'm wearing. A little Native American theme going on. But last year, I've been garage sailing since I got a driver's license. Oh my gosh. Breath. Look at this view. Been going up these stairs. I can't wait till this turns green, by the way. It's going to be beautiful. But I was garage sailing, and there was a girl and her mom. She was about 17, the girl, and mom's older. And she picks up this coat. She's looking at it. She tries it on. She's like, wow. And I immediately see it and go, oh, I love that. I love that coat. And she's hemming and hawing over it, going, I don't know, it's too big on me. And the mom's like, oh, it'll be fine. It's nice. It's a real nice coat. So she's like, I don't know. Walking around with it. She sets it down and goes, nah, I'm not going to get it. I run over there, scoop it up, look it up, and realize, oh my gosh, this is an expensive coat. And I'm checking out, and I'm asking the lady at the garage sale, you know, is this a men's or a female's coat? And the buttons are on the right side, men's side. And she goes, oh yeah, it's my late husband's coat. And you should have looked at the face of this 17-year-old girl. She's like, Seema, I knew I should have bought that. I knew I should have got it. Granted, there's going to be many of you that say, well, you didn't do the Christian thing and give it to her. No, I didn't. See? Look at oh, don't get me started. Since I've been posting more Christian videos and related content on my regular social media, not this new one that I have yet to create, the Barbs have come out with longtime friends and followers. Anytime I post something funny, anytime I post something a little controversial, Christian this, Christian that, you think you're better, blah, blah, blah. There is a real thing like Christian hate. And it's, God talked about it, Jesus talked about it, like, hey, they're going to hate you. Look what they did to me. They're going to hate you for seeing the light inside you, and it's going to convict their spirit, and people are not going to like you. You don't become a Christian to have peace and peace, yes, but prosperity and everyone to love you. Quite the opposite. God will test you. He will take you low. He will make the people hate you, but it's all for His kingdom. And we love people who hate us. We show grace. We return good to those who do evil upon you. Whereas natural human emotion, tick for tack. I need to get them back. I'm going to hold on to this unforgiveness because they wronged me. All right, I got to tie my shoe. New shoes. All right, don't forget, like, subscribe, all those good things. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.